Manchester United 3, Crystal Palace 1. The good pre-season for Manchester United continues with another very good performance from the first team. Yes, things became a little raggedy, a little bit fragmented towards the end of the game after the plethora of substitutions. But another game where Man United learnt more about their new team, learnt more about the new system and philosophy under Eric Ten Hag. Standout players again performing in Anthony Martial. Fred had a brilliant performance. I thought both fullbacks in Malacia and Delo were excellent for Manchester United today. And as per the other day, there were still holes. There are still problems. There are still things for Ten Hag and these Manchester United players to resolve and to get right. And there is no need to get carried away. There is no need to start talking about winning Premier Leagues, winning trophies. It's all about the progression of the ball. And Manchester, as in how Man United use it and how Manchester United play. And there has been so far in pre-season a very, very, very distinct difference between last year and this year. However, as I'm doing with these pre-season videos, and when some more of the other top six are playing games at normal hours, we will be covering some of them as well over the next couple of weeks as we build up to the start of the Premier League. The three takes I get from this game is this. Firstly, Manchester United will score goals with or without Cristiano Ronaldo next year. They have goals in this team. They have creativity in this team. We've seen it tonight and we'll see it again. Man United have the ability to do that. The second thing I took from tonight is also the way Man United are working out of possession. So look, I'll get on to how well we play with the ball when we're in possession, playing out from the back. A goal that actually stemmed from a David De Gea pass, which is mad. But what stood out to me as even more impressive is when Man United lost the ball, the work rate of the team to get back into position. Something that I've praised Pep and Jurgen Klopp's teams for years for is their work rate off the ball is actually better than their work rate with it. And that is why they win so many games, because they don't allow their teams to muster too many attacks. Now, Man United still need to improve positionally. There is still, of course, a number of players, including Lisandro Martinez, Christian Eriksen, a new midfielder, and an attacker to join this side. But that was impressive to see. And the third takeaway from this game is very much a warning shot to Man United fans. As good as this has looked, and it has looked good, these players have to build the mentality to do it when it matters. The results in pre-season, the shape in pre-season, all this is saying to me is you've shown you can do it, but can you do it when it really, really matters? That is the next step. That is the next stage from this Manchester United team that we need to, of course, demand. And I'm not being negative when I say that. I'm being realistic and not allowing myself to get carried away. However, the football we're playing is brilliant. The flow, the movement, the decision-making is improving. Now, you're never going to have perfect decision-making. Rashford is still going to take shots from distance at times. Bruno is still going to try through balls and passes that don't quite come off. That's natural, and that is normal. That isn't going to change, and people have got to drop that notion straight away. But what you are seeing is a more cohesive team within 3 games. We've got better each and every single time we have played so far under Eric Ten Hag. And am I surprised by this? Well, of course, the answer is a resounding no. Why would you be? Why would you be for a single moment shocked by this? Man United didn't have the greatest of coaches and systems, which is something everybody, whether you wanted Ollie to remain at the club or not, you recognize that his system and his coaching ability wasn't that of a world-class manager. That's what we're asking for. The second element, which was one of the reasons why a lot of people like me weren't too bothered whether we were getting rid of Ollie or not, is until we started letting football people run the club, it wouldn't matter. And what I mean by that is we've allowed a manager to come in, tell us how he's going to play, and we're buying the players to make it work. We're letting him get rid of the players and re-sign players and renew contracts of players that will fit the way he needs to play. Very quickly, because football people are ruling the roost, because football people at the club are now setting the standards, the players know they've got nowhere to go. Oh, God. Doesn't matter that I've got 6 million followers on Twitter, 8 million followers on Instagram. If I don't pull my weight, I'm gone because commercial decisions are being made secondary. Now, we're not going to know whether the Glazers will go full hog with that until 2 or 3 years down the line. We don't know. But in the very short space of time people have been here, there have been improvements in the club in all areas. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win anything because it has to be done over a consistent long-term period of time. But the reason I bring this up is because why are we seeing Bruno not quote unquote spam the ball into the box as much? Why are we seeing players make the right runs on counterattacks? Why are we seeing people work hard and get back into shape after we lose possession? The players haven't got better in 7 weeks, technically, but they're working hard and they're in a system that makes sense. And sometimes I feel the difference between the good managers and the world-class managers isn't even their training methods, isn't their tactics or setup. It's their communication skills and being able to make footballers understand what it is they're trying to do. Communication is key, and Ten Hag appears to be a master at that when you read about him, etc. Not based on how Man United are playing, just if you read and research him. So another very encouraging game for Manchester United fans, but I implore fans to enjoy it. Listen, rivals are going to banter you, it's pre-season, you're celebrating, beating whoever. We don't care. We haven't seen that team move the ball like that since 2014. So we're going to enjoy it. But you can enjoy it and not take your foot off the neck of the club, which is we want to see this in real games. We want to see this continuously. We know there's going to be bad days in the office still. We know we're not the finished article at the end of this preseason. We're not even going to be the finished article at the end of the season. But you've got to demand the standards are maintained, the push for consistency continues, and Manchester United, of course, look to get back to the peak of their powers, which is what every manager that joins this club is striving to do. We spend the money to be able to do it. We've just got to run it in the right way to get there, and we will see. I'm going to go to some of your comments here. Martial playing with vengeance. Listen, Anthony Martial looks absolutely out of this world. Anthony Martial looks brilliant at the moment. There is no doubt about it. I'm not going to fault it. Am I going to get carried away and say scoring 25 goals next season? No. Am I going to say, well done, you look sharp, you look hungry, you look like you want to be here? Absolutely. He looks great in preseason. Now, if that can transpire into the season and he can do that in the first team, then brilliant. As I said, I believe, already said it in the stream, I believe we will score goals next season. With or without Ronaldo, we will score goals. Yes, Martial, 8 seasons now, but OFC, I know what that means. I can't remember what that means now. Now he will deliver. I love this from you, Terry. So funny for so long. Now, preseason elites always. Listen, as I say, the result isn't the element that I'm really focusing on. The fact players are scoring goals and everything else is excellent. Do I care that young Fish got himself sent off? No. Is he actually going to play for us? No. Was he even meant to be on preseason tour? No. The result element isn't the thing that's most impressive. It's the style of football. It's the work rate off the ball. And that's what I'm really focusing on. Would I be focusing on this as much if Man United were 3 years into Eric Ten Hag? Absolutely not, because we know the style, we know the system. But when it's brand new, it's interesting to see, because one of my standards for Man United this year is improving the way we play football. That is a given, above and beyond everything else. By the way, peeps, if we hit 850 likes while I am live, I will give away 10 more free memberships to all of you. So get that done. Blaze here says, Man United fans excited about free-flowing football, only for CR37 to make his fixed starts next season, regardless of what Tony does. All about Ronaldo. We'll see what happens with that one. I mean, it's a fair take. It's a fair take, to be honest with you. Harrison here says, Terry, rivals need to understand it's not the result or the performance. It's about an identity, and we can see that, and we can clearly see where we can improve. I think you're absolutely right. Listen, rivals know that as well. They're just bantering, because what rivals were hoping for this summer was it looked awful and it looked as bad as last season. Therefore, they would get to laugh. We are definitely going to enjoy this. Simple football principles make a world of difference. Eric Ten Hag is able to simplify our game with great communication, tactics, and playing style. Finally. Absolutely right. You're guaranteed he's telling them to do less. I bet the instructions are more basic, more simplistic, and easy. And it's more understandable. Rather than trying to... This is why when I listen to like tacticos on Twitter or the tactics experts that do their videos, the way they talk about football is so confusing. My cousin was a professional footballer. My cousin knocked Chelsea out the goddamn UEFA Cup back in the noughties. Like, he played at a good level. I've sat and watched tactical videos of him and showed him Twitter threads. Professional FIFA accredited coach. And he's like, I don't really know what they're talking about. He's like, I get it, but it's like, why? His words were, I understand what they mean, but he says, why are they talking in that language? Like, a lot of us on Twitter use non-football language when we talk about football. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Now, look, I want to speak about Maguire as well. Maguire was booed today. Were the fans right for booing Maguire? I want to ask this question as well, because I have to say, I felt a little bit sorry for him in a way. Like, he didn't help himself. Like, 20 seconds into the game, he passes the ball out for a throw in, and you think, oh no, he could have a stinker here. You're thinking, oh Jesus, what's going to happen? What's going to go wrong? Awful. He actually had a really solid game. You know, didn't put a foot wrong, played well, you know, did what he needed to do. Where do people stand on booing him? Because it's a new manager. It's meant to be this clean slate, but Maguire, the memo clearly hasn't gone through to fans for Maguire to get this clean slate. Like, nobody wants to give Harry Maguire a clean slate. Nobody wants to give Harry Maguire another opportunity. Nobody wants to give Harry Maguire any benefits of any doubt. So what's your take on that, people? What is your take on that? I really want to know, because I sort of feel like I get it. And I've seen tweets from people say, well, it's to let him know that we still hold him accountable for a lot of our problems. We want him to improve. And if he starts to improve, we'll stop booing. Therefore, it's good for him. I've seen other people with the take of, we should get off his back. We should encourage him. We should be supportive. And he'll get back to his version of whatever his best is. And I'm honestly in two minds. I kind of get the booing. I get it and I understand it. But then there is the notion of, well, when you cross the white line, we need you to get better. I saw someone tweet, I can't remember who it was, that, Benzema was booed for years. He's now the best in the world, and that be the example. I suppose what I would probably like to do more research on, not that I have the time, is how many players have been booed consistently and have improved versus the ones that have stayed at the level they've dropped to or got worse. Because Benzema could be the rocking horse poo here. He could be the exception to the rule, where most others fade away and underperform. So I think it's something that needs research behind it to give an informed opinion. However, I do think it's a little bit excessive for a preseason game. But listen, we haven't played in that stadium and in that city since 1999, the summer of 1999. So you're talking 13 odd years. Sorry, 23 years. Sorry. You might just find that some of those fans are like, we're not going to get the chance in person ever again to maybe express our feelings towards Maguire. So boom, we're going to give you a little bit of a boo. But there we go. Jack Rigby here says, love being a rival and Man United still using Maguire, is what Jack Rigby's got to say. Andrew Young says, sort of get it, Terry, but it was the whole squad that were bad and gave up last season. You've got to remember, there are scapegoats in this Man United team. Public ones. Maguire, Rashford, Bruno. Three of the absolute... Pogba's gone now, so he ain't going to get any stick. Those are the real three scapegoats and people that Man United fans... Even at half-time, oh, we look really good, but Rashford's ruining it. And then in the second half, Rashford, of course, finishes off the second goal, which was sublime. Sublime football. De Gea, Bruno, Martial, Sancho, Bruno, Donny, Rashford. Great goal. And then... Again, a great touch and pirouette turn from Rashford, playing in Martial that flicks the ball on for another assist for Sancho to finish. And it was like, even when we're playing well, the mushrooms come out and they want to have a go at one or two of these players. So I sort of get it, but you've got like Maguire. For Maguire, so when you're a goal scorer, when you're an attacker, it's very quick and easy to forgive those players. Score a few goals, win a few games for your team, and people leave you alone. For a defender, it could take 6 months. 6 months of continuous flawless performances for the fans to go, okay, we forgive you now. Goalkeepers and defenders have it a lot harder than attackers when it comes to things going wrong. You know, when it comes to things going wrong. No style of play ever again in the EPL, promise. Man United, no style of play ever again. Are you saying, okay, are you trying to say that this won't translate into the Premier League? I mean, and you could be right. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't translate into the Premier League. Maybe it will. Maybe it just won't. And this is the point I made as point 3 in my review. this now needs to transpire in 19 days' time into the Premier League. It's only 2.5 weeks. And we will get our answers. A couple more preseason games, 3 weeks more weeks of training, some new players to be instilled. But you know what's really interesting for me? I'm starting to see the method in the madness now around the players that Man United have gone after. And I'll tell you as to why. Because for Manchester United, the players that are going to be integrated are already going to understand this style of football because they've played it before, generally speaking. They've all played it before. So what you're not going to have is a player that's been playing for Diego Simeone that's now got to come to Man United that have been in turmoil that are now being taught a new style by Eric Ten Hag. There should be a seamless plug and play here. Should be. In reality, we'll see how it actually turns out and works. De La Pro here says, people forget, especially rival fans with English centre-backs in their team. Maguire is the centre-back England have. Listen, if Maguire could get back to the level that he performed for at England, the level that he performed in his first 18 months at Man United, for a season at least, that's acceptable, good, and personally, I'm happy with it. There's a super chat here that says, you personally disgust me, Terry. You have zero standards, proper soft. Martial had 7 years at United and 1 loan for being awful. But yeah, slurp him up. So I don't think he's been awful for 7 years. He definitely wanted to leave last year. But why would I not praise a good performance? See, this is what I mean about agendas. I don't have an agenda against any individual player. So I'm just opening my smoothie here. It's full of ice. It's very cold. 1 second. I'll come back to that. I have no agenda. I don't even have bias anymore. I know I don't. People think I'm biased, but that's their way of not being able to debunk what I say. I have one wish as a Man United fan, and that's Manchester United win. So if Martial comes back, proves he wants to be here, plays hard, works hard, scores goals, runs through brick walls for the manager, I can forgive him. I say why I can forgive him, because it will improve Manchester United. And that's my want. My want is for Man United to improve. So I don't care who comes in and who goes within reason. I might think that's a mistake. I don't think he's good enough. Or, wow, he's too good. He shouldn't be leaving. But what all said and done, I want to win. What I don't do is have this agenda that, oh, you know what? I want Martial to foul in the Man United kit because he didn't want to be here last year. That makes no sense. No Man United fan should ever have that train of thought, in my opinion. Wanting a player to foul is crazy. Now, equally, I don't like it when people use Martial scores a few goals and then they use him as a stick to beat over Rashford's head, because I just find that a weird notion. Just be happy that your man's performing. I just don't do agendas. So I'm sorry that I discussed you, my friend, but yeah, it's not about disgust. I think it would be I think it's disgusting to want your team to fail so you can berate a football player. That for me makes zero sense. But I know we've moved into the realm of football now where the individualist element of football is so prominent now. You know, my opinion and my preferences matter actually more than the team's results. We see a lot of that across social media, but there we go. There we go. People live to hate. They feed off of it. Even many of you United fans on here, yes, I'm talking about many of you guys, don't like it when then tough. It's with the shoe fits, wear it. Sick of the low IQ, always moaning fans. And again, that's what I think. I mean, a lot of fungus fans out there, as you say, a lot of the mushrooms out there that want to be negative, and you know they won't praise certain players or overpraise others. I just don't understand it. I'm from a different generation of football fan. I think that's what it comes down to be fair. Good to see all the players defending Bruno from IU. Didn't see a lot of that last season. And of course, you know, if Man United play better football and start scoring more goals and winning more games, it creates a natural togetherness. It will create a natural togetherness and an ebb and flow of those types of emotions. We'll see. Arsenal are Terry's second team. Yeah, I've been called an Arsenal sympathizer a lot recently. It's funny how I go to being a sympathizer for all types of clubs and then get called biased as well. It doesn't make any sense. Honestly, some people's dads wasted a whole night of love and passion on them. It's unbelievable. The control and composure on the ball was surreal, and clearly Donny needs better players around him. Do you know what I'd say about Donny van der Beek? I tweeted this. He's superior in nearly every way, probably other than physically, to Scott McTominay. I really hope he gets game time. I really hope he gets the chance to play. I really hope that he gets to express himself as much as possible, because there's such a football player in there. There's such a talent in there. It's unbelievable. And yeah, I really want to see him given an opportunity. I really want to see him given a chance. I really want to see him, grab the ball by the horns and become a Man United player. 2 years too late, but better late than never. And I'd love to see that happen, because he's got that technical ability, and the subtlety on that pass was just perfect. Set it up beautifully for Rashford to put it away. And those types of goals, there was everything in that. Build up from the back, intricate team play, and then a cutback again. And cutback goals, I tweeted this after the other game, are key for Man United. Liverpool and City and Arsenal, and they seem to, in my mind anyway, score so many goals like that. But they get the ball to the byline in one way, shape, or form. They drag it back, and someone tucks it into the back of the net. And I want to see Manchester United do more than that. The hate Maguire gets is so bad that it exceeds their love for United. Well, this is very, very true as well. Like, they're again, that's because I've said this before, and that sounds harsh. I don't believe a lot of these people in their heart of hearts are Manchester United fans in the traditional sense of the word. I think they choose players to support and then affiliate themselves to a particular team. But I think, like, if they were really I think some of these fans, if you were to get them to be really honest, would be like, I could switch. I bet mentally they could switch teams. If it was acceptable to do it and they wouldn't get cooked online, they would switch teams. They support Man United, but I don't think they love Man United. There's a real difference, in my opinion. There's a comment that KJ just put in here. I don't know what it's referring to. It says, also, Ten Hag was heard saying, what the F are you doing? Yeah, I heard him do that. There was another times where I saw him, like, sorry, I need to wipe my face. It's very warm in this room. There was another time where I saw him. He said something. He screamed and was basically said something like, no more than 3 touches. No more than 3. No more than 3. And that's what you want to hear from people, One of the things about Ollie, which grated on me, was how we do something. Sometimes when a player tries something, it doesn't work. You clap him and go, keep going, you'll get it right next time. But there was never it was never like a blast moment. One of the most famous moments in Man United history for me, televised moments. It wasn't a brilliant game. We went to the San Siro. We were losing 1-0 when we came back with 2 Wayne Rooney headers to win the game, and we battered them. At Old Trafford a week later, David Beckham returned. Ronaldinho was in the team. So great. It's a very, very good AC Milan team. And United had already gone 1-0 down early, and we kept on making mistakes. And Fergie was seen blasting Johnny Evans. And he basically screamed, what the F do you think you're doing? Sort it out, you're off. And it was from that moment the team just improved. It was like, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to be that rocket up the backside. And then what you need is the fact that your club is backing you over any of those players. If you've got those two things, you'll always see improvements. Dougie here says Malacia did pretty good. Yeah, he did. I thought he looked very, very tight in. The fact he crossed it with his right foot to put the low in to cross it for Martial, I couldn't believe it. Because our fullbacks don't do that at Man United. They just don't. Malacia is going to be a handful, energy, and aggressive in attack in the attacking third. Also, Terry Scott is going to play a lot of games over VDB. You need muscle. Yeah, listen, I think we started to see today. What's going to be intriguing to me is this. I think we kind of saw Man United starting lineup for the opening game of the season tonight, barring new additions. So I think Lisandro Martinez might start. I think if we sign De Jong, he could start if he signs before the deadline, like close enough. I want to know which of the 2 midfielders he would take out for De Jong. Would it be Fred or would it be McTominay? Because Fred's looked all right. I don't like Muck Fred, but I like Fred. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who kind of gets dragged out of there as and when that decision is made. Big thank you there to Ian White for signing up and becoming an official Football Terrace member. I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you much indeed. Let's have a look at some more of these comments. Delo has been impressive the whole preseason. Hope he continues. He looks all right, you know. He's looked all right. And again, he's not a player that I was very keen on, but he looks okay. And do I think, this is what I would say is this. Do I think that all these players performing are going to maintain this level and be brilliant for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? No. As I said before Ten Hag was even employed, don't be surprised if there's 2 or 3 players that are exponentially better than we've seen them before in a Man United team in a new system. Don't be surprised if 1 or 2 outside of those initial 3 become players that we didn't expect them to be at Man United once you have a world-class coach. There's examples of this consistently across football. So that's why when people are saying we need to like get 50 new players in one summer, no, you don't. You don't. And one of the things that Ten Hag said in his interview the other day, which I loved, is if we can't find the right players, we will develop somebody. I trust, based on his history, his ability to develop people. And I think that's what's really, really key. But Delo, you listen, he started very, very well indeed. No doubt about it. No doubt. Afternoon, Terry. Happy days, early days, but optimistic to see how we will do this year with motivated players under good direction. And I think that's the point. And this is something that I think rivals understand this, but they just don't want to hear it. They just want to do the stereotypical banter. We know it's boring, but, you know, we can't help their brains. Man United fans want to feel optimism. And United fans have not felt optimistic for a long time, especially that back end of the season. Every big game, every tough away game, every Champions League game. I know how I felt. I went into every game, and in my heart of hearts, I thought, got no chance today. I didn't believe we could win. I didn't think we would win. And invariably, we didn't win. So, of course, there's optimism. And Man United fans should absolutely do that. Do you think it's an issue that Gracno can't get a game? Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned because of the hype around him and how good a player he is and what everybody expected to see from him this year. At the same time, though, this is a manager's first summer. So what he's really trying to do is he knows who his better players are. He sees them in training. He's got to get them used to his football. So I kind of feel like if this was the second or third summer and he already knows how good Rashford is, he already knows how good Sancho is, he maybe can give them a little bit less game time and experiment a bit. But I just don't think the manager has the luxury to experiment as much as he would maybe like to, because it's, of course, his first pre-season. I'm closely observing Bruno. I saw progression and thinking before the pass. He requires time to get into the groove and will play well. Listen, Bruno had another very good game today. And it's funny. I saw a tweet from Manny. Manny's been on the show before. He's a really, really good guy, Manny. I like him a lot. I want to read you my reply because I want to read you his tweet and then my reply. If you read the tweet and the reply together, it kind of makes sense. But what I said here was, I need to find it now because I tweeted a lot during the game. He says, Bruno isn't spamming the ball anymore. He's been solid. And I just replied with, so many claim the training and the system were the reasons for Martial, Pogba and Donny underperforming, but ignored that take with Bruno and Rashford as an example. And it's very true. People did ignore it. It's very true. People did sit there and say, but Bruno just spams balls. He gives the ball away too much. And a player like Bruno will always give the ball away. You cannot get away from that. He's always going to give it away between 15 to 20 times in a game because he tries things. He takes risks. He'll open his body up to attract a player because what he wants to try and do is flick it around the corner to open a door. He isn't safe. However, what I've seen in every preseason game is him making the right decisions in the important moments. There was a time in the second half, as a case in point, where we're driving forward. He had the ball, Rashford to his left, and he had Martial and Sancho to his right. Sancho and Martial were pretty much covered by defenders and midfielders running back. I've seen Bruno try and thread the eye of the needle to play one of them in so many times and to get intercepted. This time he played it out at Rashford and we created a chance and an opportunity out of it. More of that needs to happen. But that's about coaching and systems. That's about feeling confident. And better coaches will make you feel that way. So, yeah, look, I'm really excited about what Bruno can do next year. I'm very excited about what we might be able to get out of Martial. And listen, he hasn't really had much praise this summer. But Rashford's speed looks back. He scored a couple of goals. If you can get Rashford back to putting in those 20, 30 goal contributions next year, it could be a good season for Man United. A good season. Not getting carried away, but a good season. Someone else says Martial's clear of Jesus, so we're not going to go that far just yet here. Terry, it's not supposed to be it's not supposed to be if we can't find the right players or we develop, because there are always players out there. He was supposed to say if we can't get the players we want. No, he wasn't supposed to say that. He was supposed to say what he said. What I would say to people is don't take everyone takes. I've got a video dropping later. You'll see it. Stop taking what managers say literally, because you would use a different word. Read between the lines. You know, we can't find or can't get the players we want. For me, they're the same toffee with a different wrapper on them. We don't need to we do this in life. I think politics has done it to us. We overanalyze every word and its meaning and its sub-meaning and its meaning to us. Does that make sense? I'll give an example. A lot of people have said to me in the last year, I really appreciate what you've done for me, Terry. Or I really appreciate you. Difference. If you tell me I really appreciate what you've done for me, I like that. When someone says, I appreciate you, for whatever reason, when someone tells me they appreciate me, it feels like less of a compliment than, I think you're really great. I don't know why. If you word those two sentences differently to me, I feel differently about them. But if you ask them, what do you mean? They mean it's exactly the same thing, right? So sometimes stop over-scrutinizing the language and look at the meaning beyond it. You know, that's what I think is really, really key when it comes to this type of thing. By the way, make sure you're smashing that like button for us, people. Let's get this past 850 likes while we're live, and I'll give out 10 more. That's 10 more memberships to you all. How many times have we heard this song? LVG had a style of play and had good talent, same as Ollie. You even defended Ollie and insisted his style is fluid and counter-attack direct. I did defend Ollie. Ollie did have a style of play. He just didn't have a style of play that could consistently yield the results we needed. I didn't disagree that the style of play didn't exist. Did I ever say that he was a world-class elite coach? Did I ever say that his system was exactly what I wanted or perfect or brilliant? And there was a fluidity in that first 18 months. And let's not get carried away with what happened in the last season. In the first 18 months where I spoke about that, we made videos about it. You can see it. There was a free flow mentality to it. There was a fluidity to the way we attacked. But what we didn't have was a great structure in defense. Man United's attacking element under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, until the last season where he got sacked, wasn't the problem. It was our shape outside of possession, which was part of his system, but not his style of play. And equally on LVG did have a style of play, and it looked very good in pre-season, which is exactly why, Eric, and I'm sorry to cookie him, my friend, I've said as great as this is, we have to stay on the neck of the club and demand they do this when it matters. So there's a fundamental difference between saying, I can see what we're trying to do and it's going to work and we're going to win everything, and saying, I can see what we're trying to do. Now we need to go and deliver in the actual games. Good try, my friend. But remember, if you try and take a shot at the king, do not miss. Rashi getting his confidence back and is more involved in the game. He looks sharper, but I do want to see more from him. I know his capabilities is what Prime's got to say. That I agree. I want to see more from all of them, because nobody's been perfect. So I want to see more from all of them, no doubt. No doubt. Let's have a little look here. Mad needs to go out on loan. Yeah, I mean, I ain't seen much of it. Again, everyone knows I don't think he's good enough. I have all the youngsters that have come on and played. Just haven't seen too much from him that I've gone, oh, interesting. Jordan Ayew was taking preseason too seriously. Yeah, I know what's wrong with him. I don't know what was wrong. The geezer was on an absolute mission to try and hurt someone. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. Let's not forget that Arnold says we have the money for the players the manager wants, and yet he isn't getting Anthony for him. Still 50-50 on him, though. Yeah, we have the money, but we have to be careful. We don't want to, again, there's a balance between these things. There's having the money and then there's being willing to spend it. So if they're charging 20, 30, 40 million pound over the asking price for a player that we don't, if Ronaldo stays and Martial's in this form, we don't desperately need Anthony this season. We don't. And if you suddenly pay 30 million pounds more than you think the player is worth, you're setting a massive precedent. United have already paid maybe 5-6 million pound more than they wanted to for Lissandro, but that's because there was a bidding war for him. So it was different. 2 other clubs were in for him. But I get your point, but I wouldn't overly stress yourselves on that too much. Let's have a little bit more of a look here. Eric Ten Hag said in his bio his philosophy was totally influenced by Pep. It's well documented. What's the issue with that? There ain't one. Is there? Who said there is one? And Pep's style is probably influenced by somebody else before him. That's kind of in sport, in music, in film. That's the way it is. Even in the YouTube world we're in, no one that brings out anything new now is original. It's all just a mock-up of what Redmen and Full-Time Devils and AFTV started. You know, people forget I was the first person ever to do a watch-along, ever. And I swear that on my kids' lives. I didn't carry on doing them, and other people have taken them to world-class levels. But it's just the way the world is. I don't know why anyone would have a problem with that, but there we go. It's just life. Life. Hannibal has been unlucky, played against the Scousers when the game was over and not had game time today, not seen him properly in pre-season. Yeah, it's been a shame not to see a bit more of him. But again, I think that it's a very hard year for this amount of players, for too many players to get a lot of game time. I think, you look at the situation with, 19 days until the league starts, getting this new system installed. Because at the end of the day, developing a young player or two isn't the most pressing element of Ten Hag's current situation. What he's really got to do is push on from here and get this team ready to start kicking balls at the beginning of next season. That is more important at this moment in time. Only in my opinion, everyone might see that a little bit differently, but in my opinion, that's the important thing for him to do. But listen, my people, I really appreciate you all tuning in and having your say. I really, really do. I'm back around 5. I've got to sort out a time with straight facts today. More content after that as well. Big transfer news on the way. Tillemans, Paqueta. There's updates on Kimpembe and Jules Koundé all coming around 5 o'clock today. So make sure you stay with the Football Terrace. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God